Welcome back to more Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Last time we rescued Louie again, so this time we're exploring the rest of the Garden of Hope. Let's go with 30 rock Pikmin, 50 yellow Pikmin, and 20 winged Pikmin. Compared to yesterday, this should be relatively chill today. We only have 2 more fruits left, they're both in the exact same area, and there are barely any enemies left in the Garden of Hope. We have a couple of yellow Wollywogs, but once again, they are completely trivialized by rock Pikmin. On one hand, given how fearsome they were in Pikmin 1, it is kind of sad that they are so easy to defeat in this game. On the other hand, as someone who's been playing Pikmin 1 since I was 8 or 9, it's also very cathartic being able to defeat Wollywogs this easily in this game, and also in 2 when you have purple Pikmin. With the Wollywogs out of the way, the Pikmin will be able to carry things through here safely, so let's proceed through this pathway. We did see this area before on our first visit to the Garden of Hope, but we weren't able to do anything here because we didn't have yellow Pikmin or all of the captains. So what we want to do is weigh down the scale with a Pikmin and then toss Charlie and Brittany over here. I'm pretty sure we actually can't reach this upper scale with rock Pikmin. Actually, we barely can, so let's get them up to this ledge, and once they're over here, we can toss some more Pikmin up to them, and they can carry this fruit back. There are a couple ways to deal with scales in the series. One is obviously to try to navigate all of your Pikmin and captains using the scales. Alternatively, you can simply toss the number of Pikmin you need once the captains are actually in position, which in my opinion is what I'd recommend as someone who definitely doesn't want to do math if I don't have to. So, with the wall taken down, we should be able to find a couple of data files, though one is extremely high up, and we also have another fruit. Getting up there won't be easy. I remember struggling quite a bit with this on my first playthrough, but it's actually not too bad. Basically, what we want to do is toss maybe 15 to 20 yellow Pikmin up to Charlie, and then toss Brittany over to the lower scale. My advice here would be to use winged Pikmin, because they don't weigh down the scale, meaning you don't have to counterbalance with more Pikmin. If we actually used other types of Pikmin, we'd actually need like 30 to 40 to actually raise it back up. But with winged Pikmin, we're able to get over there with only about 10 to 15. We'll also want to go after this data file, which is also a little bit tricky, but first of all, let's charge the winged Pikmin over here, and then see what we can do about this file. This one naturally tends to want to raise up, so what we want to do is toss Alpha over here, and then actually toss the yellow Pikmin off of the scale, and it should gradually rise up on its own because of this. This data file is actually really interesting because it is completely different in the Wii U version. In the Wii U version, I remember this data file in particular was just a number. There were 10 data files like this, and originally you could actually go on Miiverse, and there was a developer post that linked to a website. If you go to the website, use all of the numbers from these codes, and input them, you would get a secret video that would basically correspond to whatever corresponding numbers you got for your file. It was a really cool Easter egg, and luckily those video files are still in Pikmin 3 Deluxe. We'll talk about that later on. So they weren't lost media or anything, thankfully they were just integrated into Pikmin 3 Deluxe. But in general, it was a cool Easter egg. Now there are actual data files that have, like, journals from Olimar. So for example, this one actually talks about an Easter egg, and I definitely want to show that off once we get our Pikmin back. Actually, we could start rearranging our numbers here. What we want to do is basically put away all of our Pikmin like that, and then take out 20 red Pikmin and 20 blue Pikmin. Basically meaning we have all even numbers for our squad. If you played Pikmin 2, you probably know where this is going, but again, nothing will actually happen until the winged Pikmin carry this fruit the rest of the way. But with that, we're actually done with the Garden of Hope. We have collected everything, but we still have a couple of Easter eggs to go after, even in addition to this little thing here. So, if I'm not mistaken, if you have 20 of each type of Pikmin, it might be hard to hear because I am commentating, but the Pikmin should start to sing the main theme of Pikmin 3. If I'm not mistaken, there's actually another layer to this Easter egg, where if you only have red, blue, and yellow Pikmin, they'll actually try to sing the main theme of Pikmin 1 instead, which is a cool callback given that those were the original types. Again, it's not exactly easy to hear as I'm trying to commentate here. But also, yeah, it's actually really faint. I don't know if you could hear that at all, but they were definitely humming the theme. I'm pretty sure there's also an Easter egg where if you have 100 of every type, they'll try to hum it, but they'll hum it off because they don't have all of the other Pikmin types, essentially to harmonize. Another cool secret is, when you actually defeat the Quaggled Myroclops, its body actually remains here, and plants start growing on it. I'm pretty sure this is the only case in the entire series where an enemy's body actually, one, stays in place permanently, and then also becomes integrated into the actual environment. So it is a really cool detail. And also you have two very unique enemies, sort of. They're not really that scary, to be honest, but you have the yellow Spectralid and the red Spectralid. Obviously, on the Wii U version, it wouldn't be necessarily imperative to actually fight these, but if you're playing on the Switch version and want a complete Picklopedia, you will actually have to fight them here. So this is a very remote secret that is incredibly easy to miss if you're trying to get like a perfect playthrough, essentially, where you get like every Easter egg and get like every enemy for the Picklopedia. Now, to be honest, I'm pretty sure they might actually carry over, like if you have multiple save files on the same profile, I'm pretty sure the Picklopedia progress actually transfers between files, because when I did a test playthrough, I still had all of the Picklopedia entries even earlier into the game. So, with that taken care of, we still have half the day left. Again, we actually had plenty of time, given that we were able to get so much done on the previous day, even with the Myroclops fight. So, we also have a couple more Easter eggs to go over in this area. What I want to do is dismiss everybody, including the captains, because they actually can get in the way for what we're about to show off. So let's actually dismiss everybody and go on a little bit of an adventure. So, there are actually hidden murals in each area. There are 3 in total, and in Pikmin 3 Deluxe, there's actually a badge for photographing them all. The photos you take will be displayed on the world map. In addition to just being a nice little Easter egg in terms of just there being hidden murals all over the place, it's also cool that the photos that you take in a level do actually show up on the level select screen. It's a really nice detail. So again, there are 3 in each area. That was the first one. The next one should be somewhere over here. I think I see it already. Also worth mentioning is you do have some different features, like you can toggle a flash, you can set autofocus or set focus manually, so it is a fairly robust camera feature, and as you can tell, the screenshots are saved to your Switch's photo library. Obviously in the original, photos could be attached to Miiverse instead and shared that way, but again, there was no badge system in the Wii U version, so there wasn't anything for photographing the murals. That was something exclusively in Deluxe, even though the murals themselves are actually in both versions. So it is cool actually giving some more incentive to actually finding these hidden murals. We will be going after all 15, it would be, since there are 5 main areas, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, we will be trying to show all of them off. The final one should actually be by where Brittany landed in the Garden of Hope. We also have plenty of pellets, so I think I'll spend the rest of the day just growing my numbers just to see how many Pikmin I can end up with at the end of this playthrough. But I think it's this right over here. And that takes care of the hidden murals of the Garden of Hope. So, there are still plenty of pellets, so yeah, let's raise our numbers a bit. We're giving a lot to the red Pikmin, frankly, because we have barely seen them, so it's nice to actually see them and give them something to do, if I'm being completely honest. Again, this game is really weird about balancing Pikmin types, because I feel like red Pikmin almost have the worst in some ways. You obviously have to use them here, for example, the initial day, because you only have one type of Pikmin until you get the rock Pikmin. But a lot of things in Pikmin 3 that involve fire can be done with other types of Pikmin. Like, there's barely any fire geysers anymore. I can only think of like 2 places with fire geysers in the main campaign, and also, on top of that, I feel like most of the enemies you run into that are fire types aren't exclusive. Like, you have fiery blowhogs, but you can fight them with any type of Pikmin as long as you're willing to whistle them. The only enemies that you really, truly cannot fight without red Pikmin are the pyroclasmic slooches, but like, how many have we actually seen? We've seen such a small number of them in our journey so far, that in general, it does really feel like the red Pikmin really get the short end of the stick in terms of overall balancing. And it's a shame, because they're like the staple type. They're the one on all the promo materials, for example, and yeah, it is kind of odd that they tend to get sidelined quite a bit. That was also kind of a problem in 2, but you still have like the fiery blowhogs, not those, the fiery bulbulax, that's what I meant. Instead, that was completely on fire unless you could lure it to water, in which case you would want to actually fight it entirely with red Pikmin, or again, alternatively, you can actually just use a bitter spray and like punch it, or even just throw purple Pikmin at it and be able to actually defeat it that way, if, again, you're willing to call Pikmin back. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I actually did that in the Pikmin 2 Let's Play. I'm pretty sure I ended up using purple Pikmin, at least like during the Cavern of Chaos, because of not really wanting to deal with fighting them with red Pikmin in a small number at that. But again, it is a little bit odd that certain types just end up feeling a little bit dispensable in a way. Like, again, the only times when you really need yellow Pikmin is if there's like a ton of electricity blocking something, and even like the nerf to electricity for enemies like the Amp Rat in the Distant Tundra. You can fight it with other types of Pikmin as well, as long as you're willing to risk them getting shocked. But again, since electricity isn't insta-kill anymore, they are a lot less scary than pure electric enemies in the previous games. And likewise, again, unless something is completely underwater, a lot of times winged Pikmin can actually reach things and carry things across water. So yeah, again, the overall balancing is really off, and I do feel like it is more skewed in 3, even compared to 2, which already had problems. Like, usually you ended up just using purple Pikmin for a lot of things because they had a higher weight that they could carry, and they also dealt more damage, so it just didn't feel that necessary to use other types of Pikmin in a lot of cases. But again, it almost feels more lopsided in 3, just because of how good the winged Pikmin in particular are at like reaching high ledges and things on the other side of water that just kind of make the other types a little bit more obsolete, especially since you get the winged Pikmin before the blue Pikmin. So for example, when we go back to the Twilight River, there's one more fruit that we didn't get, I'm pretty sure, that we could have gotten with winged Pikmin. I probably will get it with blue Pikmin just to give them something to do, but again, a lot of the tasks are interchangeable in 3 between types, which does lead to some balancing issues. Hehehe. New fruit, yes. We've gathered so much of the fruit of this planet. We'll be able to save so many people on our home planet with this. Since we're sharing with that Hokotation, everyone's portions are smaller tonight. The captain's in particular. This is great! We actually have a little bit of a juice buffer. A little bit of a juice buffer, she says, as we have 54 days worth of juice. So yeah, we actually didn't have a ton to do here, but we were able to get through it relatively quickly, and then get photos of the murals, and also raise our numbers up quite a bit. We actually didn't deal with the Hermit Crawdads in that cave. They are the only enemy left, from what I can tell looking at this radar. But with that, we've... Okay, there's still like one enemy, I think that's another Spectralid there. But with that, we have finished exploring the Garden of Hope. Careful observation of the blue Pikmin has revealed that they have the ability to swim as well as attack in the water. The way they open their mouths is so cute, but I think that is their way of extracting oxygen from the water. There appear to be openings on their cheeks that resemble gills. Pikmin always seem to do things in groups. They appear to have a strong sense of camaraderie. I'm not sure about that. They do things together because they're following orders, right? It's not camaraderie, that's loyalty. I always say, the most important thing in the world is loyalty. With all due respect, Captain, last night you said the most important thing in the world was dinner. Yes, well, the juice was very good. So I figured out why we kept getting the same conversation over and over again. That one is actually fixed, and because we watched it at the end of every day, it wouldn't actually save when I reloaded the game again. So now that I've actually saved that we've seen it, we will be able to get random conversations from here on out. But with that, we have done everything in the Garden of Hope. You can see our photos along with the default photos scrolling by, but next time we will be going to the distant tundra. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more Pikmin 3 Deluxe.